Mitt Romney had a call with his top donors a week after the elections. He had his national finance chair and some of the other people that worked on his campaign there. It was an interesting call that was part apology, part explanation for why they lost. And after you see their explanation, you'll be incredibly relieved we did not elect this guy. So first of all, he starts with his disappointment. He says, quote, "I'm very sorry that we didn't win. I know that you expected to win. We expected to win. We were disappointed with the result. We hadn't anticipated it, and it was very close, but close doesn't count in this business." So I found that amazing because a week later, they appear to continue to be shell-shocked. They're like, I can't believe that guy beat us. Well, I know that you felt incredibly entitled. Your whole life you felt entitled, and I guess you thought you were entitled to the presidency. Well, it didn't work out that way for you, Mitt. Sad day. So now, what is the reason he lost? Is it because he ran a bad campaign? He way overpaid for his ads, spent more money than Obama, but got less ads. As an example, his Go Get Out the Vote effort, this Project Orca, was an epic disaster. It was an app that failed completely on election day. Was your gross incompetence, all the things that you misspoke about, the 47% you got caught on tape on? No, it was the fault of the young voters, the blacks, and the Latinos. This gives you a real insight into who the real Mitt Romney is. Because remember, that was one of the main questions. Who is Mitt Romney? Is it the moderate guy that was in Massachusetts? Is it the real conservative guy that was in the primaries? Well, it turns out the real Mitt Romney's a douchebag. So here's what we find out through his call. He said Obama had done the, quote, old playbook of wooing specific interest groups, especially the African-American community, the Hispanic community, and young people. Mr. Romney explained with targeted gifts and initiatives. All right, now let's start at the least offensive and work our way to the most offensive. So he continues to explain about these gifts that he gave to these different groups of people. In each case, they were very generous in what they gave to those groups. In other words, they weren't voting for who they thought was going to be a better president and who would help the country more. Well, they wanted stuff from us. You know who we are. We're the rich donors that I'm talking to right here. We're the makers. And these guys, all they want to do is take. You know how the young are? You know how blacks and Hispanics are? Here we go, about the young. He says, with regards to young people, for instance, the forgiveness of college loan interest was a big gift. No, you ass. They need that for equality of opportunity. Remember what he said at one point in the campaign when they asked him, hey, listen, how are we supposed to pay for these incredible loans? He says, well, why don't you just ask your parents? Yeah, but we didn't all have millionaire parents like you. It's not a gift, it's an equality of opportunity so that everybody can live the American dream. But this guy doesn't give a damn about your American dream. All he cares about is protect our money. I don't want these young people taking it, etc. So more on young people. He says they also offered, quote, free contraceptives were very big with young college-aged women. Oh, man. That is devastatingly offensive. You think that Obama won the election because what? College-age women wanted to have sex more, and so they just did it for the contraception? First of all, they have free contraception in college anyway. That's not the point. You see their view of you guys? So the question of, did Mitt Romney really care about women? Did he understand women's place? No! He thought, oh, yeah, these girls, all they want to do is get laid. They want the free contraception. That's why they're going for Obama. Man, how glad are you that this guy didn't win? He didn't give a damn about any of you. This is what he thought of you. Continuing. And then finally, Obamacare also made a difference for them because, as you know, anybody now 26 years of age and younger was now going to be part of their parents' plan, and that was a big gift to young people. No, but the government is supposed to help you. It's not supposed to hurt you. That doesn't mean they give you a gift, they give you a handout. It means that they look out for you. For example, in defense, protecting the country, police, fire department, etc. And if it means that you're allowed to stay on your parents' insurance, we're not giving you the insurance, we're not paying for it. The parents are paying for the insurance and you can stay on until you're 26. That's the government helping you, protecting you. But Romney doesn't think that's his objective. He had won. He wasn't going to protect you. He was going to protect the guys that were on that call, his donors. We haven't even gotten to the Hispanics and blacks yet. So let's go there. Now, when talking about Latinos, he said, you can imagine this is for African Americans. You can imagine for somebody making $25,000 to $30,000 or $35,000 a year, being told you're now going to get free health care, particularly if you don't have it. Getting free health care worth what? $10,000 per family in perpetuity? I mean, this is huge. So that's all they want. Black people want your money. See, they want your money. And look at them, man. These guys, he doesn't look at a guy making $30,000, $35,000. And that's a guy that's working, right? Every day goes to work, makes that money, right? He doesn't look at him like, how do I help that guy? How do I make sure that if he gets sick, he doesn't die and that the rest of his family doesn't suffer? He doesn't think like, how do I help that guy get a better opportunity? He thinks, you know how these people who make 30 or 35,000 are. Mooch, mooch, mooch off of us rich people. You think he was going to represent you? What was the number one thing I told you about Mitt Romney? It's not that he didn't care to win. The question was, who was on his team? You weren't on his team. These rich donors were on his team. Now let's go to Latinos. He says, quote, likewise with Hispanic voters, free health care was a big plus. But in addition, with regards to Hispanic voters, the amnesty for children of illegals, the so-called DREAM Act kids, was a huge plus for that voting group. Two things here. Number one, when it comes to blacks and Latinos, he doesn't think, hey, maybe they're a broad group, maybe some of them are middle class, some of them are rich, some of them are poor, etc. No, he thinks, well, what do blacks and Latinos, they just want. They want. All they're looking for is gifts, all of them. Gee, I wonder why Mitt Romney had trouble getting Latino and black votes. I can't quite tell. And then second of all, there were people who were saying out there, oh, no, etch a sketch, it's okay. All that stuff he said that was anti-Latino, anti-immigration during the primaries, he didn't mean it. Of course he'd do the DREAM Act. Except it turns out when you get in on a private conversation with his donors, he says, those so-called DREAM Act kids. They weren't born millionaires. He's got no interest in them. One final thing about Latinos. No, sorry. So he's done with Latinos. So one final thing, and this one I liked, as he's crying about his donors and how he got beat because all the blacks, Latinos, and young people wanted handouts and Obama gave it to him. He said, quote, and so now we're looking and saying, okay, what can we do going forward? But frankly, we're still so troubled by the past, it's hard to put together our plans for the future. Here's what I say to that. Ah, good. Ah, good. As my ex-Jamaican girlfriend used to say. I hope you're hurt, dog. And I'm not going to ask you if you're all right. This guy would have been a national nightmare if he was elected president. Forget the 47% of you that he declared he didn't care about. Sounds like he wouldn't have cared about 97% of you. He is actually much more conservative than even I realized. And he's much more of an entitled jerk than I realized. And after reading all this, he also sounds a lot more racist than I realized.